So I know at the end of my videos, I ask for your comments or thoughts, but for this video, and especially this episode of Tower of God, in episode 10, I would really love to hear, or I guess read those who have read this comic and are also watching their webtoon, what you think of this episode and this change at the end. So for those who have not read the comic, I myself have not read this comic. Just yesterday after this episode came out, I saw a few people post about the change, so I wanted to kind of talk about it. So this episode is different than what is on the comic. So what has been read and what we are watching are kind of different now and are probably going to be different in the future. Reading Tower of God, Khan is supposed to be acting different than he does in this episode, which is why the webtoon might be doing its own thing in the future, which of course in film they like to be different from what people have read because it's film, it's just something they do, they want to be different. But at the same time, I want to know those who have read this comic if you're okay with this change in the future, or if you wish they would have stayed the same. This change happens at the end of this episode. In the webtoon of episode 10, we learn at the end the test results on who passed and who failed the test. So those who have passed the test, of course, are all the characters that we know and have seen throughout the past 9 episodes. We have a few new faces, so that'll be interesting to see in future episodes who these characters are, what they can do. But then at the end, of course, Rachel was a light bearer, and that was the last category that they said would pass. They were like light bearers who pass, Khan, Rachel, but Rachel, because of her injuries, fails. Everyone's kind of surprised by it. Like, I guess they're surprised that she failed because she can't participate because of her legs anymore. But everyone is just really shocked that Rachel can't move on anymore. So Khan kind of steps up, goes to the test director, Han Sun-yu, and says, "Hey, I know this little secret. You guys have this administrator's test, and I would like to do it for Rachel." Which of course the room is like, what is this test? And then Han Sun-yu is like, how do you know this? But like, I don't know, he's Khan, of course he's gonna know everything, that's just who he is. But we learned that to take the administrator's test, only an irregular can do it, which of course Bond then stands up and says, I would like to do it because I'm an irregular. So at the end of the episode he takes the test, which is where the comic and webtoon differ on how that scene was played out and what characters did and how the characters were portrayed. When Bond is taking his test, this like super hard test of administrator, everyone is debating on whether they should help him or not. And in the comic, Khan convincingly tries to have everyone not help Bond, and it's a debate on if they should even help Bond or not. And it turns out after this, I guess, long conversation they have in the comic, they all decide to help Bond, and Rack goes up to Khan, I guess, or maybe he says it in his mind because I haven't read it. Rack figures out that Khan, during this whole entire debate, was actually trying to turn people to help Bond, where in the webtoon, Rack and Khan team up together, do this wimpy acting, and everyone is like, oh, we see through your acting, of course we're going to help Bond, now please stop acting horribly. And even though both the webtoon and the comic of episode 10 or volume 10, they do end up with everyone helping Bond in his test and supporting him, difference really lies with Rack, because he noticed Khan was trying to deceive everyone. He's a pretty smart guy now. Like, he's not all muscle. He was able to figure out what Khan was doing because Khan likes to make deals and is really shady, and he just reminds me of Rumpelstiltskin from Once Upon a Time. So someone like Rack, who's just all muscles, likes to punch things, do whatever he wants, he's kind of showing he's a little bit smart now in the comic, where in the webtoon he never gets that chance. It's just him and Khan doing this acting and probably Rock going along with it. So I kind of want to know, those who have read the comic, if this change is something you were okay with seeing, happy with seeing, because it still had the end result with everyone still helping Bond. Just it took away from the Rack character. So I just want to know people's thoughts on that. there's not really much difference between the comic and the webtoon except for at the end when Khan is supposed to be convincingly acting in the comic to get everyone to be on Bond's side, and Rack is like, oh hey, I'm smart now, I saw through this smart guy's plan, versus the webtoon, Khan and Rack team up together to do this poorly acting scene to get everyone to help on, and everyone is like, oh yeah, we saw through your acting, of course we're gonna help him. I mean, with this change, probably this change though we'll see more of in Rack, his character, because he no longer saw through Khan's devious plan as in the comics. It's definitely going to change him personally, probably more than anyone else in future episodes. I mean, this season, we only have 13 episodes, so there's only 3 more episodes, and it should be interesting to see how Rack has changed. Either him staying this kind of, I'll say, dumb character, where in the comic, and they at least maybe we're gonna try to make him smart, or at least have a smart moment and then maybe be like dumb again in future comics. But the change in the next 3 episodes from the webtoon and the comic are really going to be seen through Rack. I have not read the comics, but after looking it up yesterday all day, I kind of feel bad now for Rack as a character, because yeah, I feel like he maybe would have been a smart character now in the comics or the webtoon in the future episodes, and now that just totally got taken away from him. So of course that means when he acts in the future, all those scenes will probably be different than the comic, which is fine. Film likes to be different than what people read, but still, I kind of feel bad for the character because it's gonna be like he had this character development and that just got taken away from him now. But at the same time, that is just my opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts on the series. Make sure to subscribe and like.